Hello, this is Mish, and welcome to a review of a title called Double Kick Heroes. So this title is coming to Steam Early Access on April the 11th. Developed and published by Headbang Club. Seems to be the first title from that developer. So what I thought I'd do is I'd show you around the interface. So we have a few different game modes. So bear in mind this is early access, so this will change as let's hope it will change as time goes on. So we have an arcade mode. So with that we have 5 different levels of difficulty. And as you can see here, you just kind of progress along with nothing in between them. You just select the level and it begins. So pretty straightforward. But I guess the difference between the difficulties, if I go back into here, is, as you can see here, it explains in a little caption down the bottom there that rock is easy difficulty. So that's a single track that you're playing there. So that's just one, possibly 2 buttons over and over again with the ability to possibly move the vehicle. The vehicle moves sometimes on bosses. So and as you can see here, now we have introduction of another track. So we have, not only do we have kick drums, but we also have a snare or possibly a cymbal. And obviously it's going to get more complicated as you go. So now we have possibly up to 3, not always, but I guess towards the difficulty end of the scale we do. And as you can see, it's just going to go crazy. So this is the hardest. It's constant 3 tracks. And also it mentions as well there that the combos. So there is a combo system where you hit as many notes as possible or as many beats as possible to power up your weapons. And if you stuff it up, it reverts you back to the basic first, pistol, whatever you want to say. Okay, so this is the interface you use for the story mode. It's the same levels as the arcade mode, but there's dialogue at the start of each one. Well, it's just a written dialogue. There's no actual vocals in this. But there's an interface here where you press to go around to the different level. There's certain areas here where you can talk to people, and it's almost like you make a base and you communicate and almost get quests to unlock other areas. This in the Steam description, it mentions about 4 hours to play through, and I'd say that's probably about right. On the easier difficulty, the 2 easy difficulties, I completed this. I did bounce between them every now and again, but yeah, about 4 hours is about right. So that probably only other 2 areas that you need to know about would be the editor. Now this, I think, is a fantastic addition to this, because if you want a game like this and you're not fully invested into heavy metal or whatever music you like, you can actually add your own tracks. So that is fantastic. You could even obviously play through it, then add more tracks that you want. So that is a great addition to longevity of the game, and also customization. It's really good. So it's a really nice feature. I haven't used it myself, but I think it'll be very powerful, and it's something they should really build upon. Even give you more tracks to choose from that are based from the game, because I think that at the moment they have about 15 different levels, so that's about 15 different tracks. Yeah, so early access, they aim to double that by the look of it. Now let's have a quick look in the options menu. So in here we just have different languages, which is always definitely helpful. Dialogue speed, which is good. And sound. Now this is why I did tweak this a lot, because I found that the sound of my kick track and my snare was being overwhelmed by the main track and also the general sound effects of the game. So this was my setup. I thought it worked quite well because I could still hear the track, the song, and also my stuff was quite powerful over the top. So it would give me more of a sense of the feel of the track. But that's what I used. So for the gameplay, you can, I guess, reset the progression. When you're actually in the game, you can go in there and change the level, the difficulty, which is quite nice. For controls, I started with the gamepad, and I think that was a big mistake. I think that's probably the best way to play this game is with the keyboard. As you can see there, we have the ability to move the car up and down, and also you have 2 kick drums and a snare and a cymbal. There's a bit of interface there as well that you can obviously navigate through, but I think that was the best way to do it. because you need at some point, if you're going to the extreme levels, you're gonna need five buttons constantly. So it's pretty crazy. And what else we have? Graphics. Not a lot of options in here. If you want shake screen off, that's all good. Graphics quality is, there's not a lot here really. But it seems to function quite nicely around graphics. But if you have a specific setup you want there, obviously that's quite limited. So now let me load a level for you, and I'll just give you my general thoughts of what's going on. So initially this game, for me, it didn't initially grab me, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't see a massive draw card. And I think that's probably because of the difficulty level. I started on the easiest level, and I just found it quite dull. So after doing that for a few levels, I ramped it up, and that is when it really grabbed me. And I thought, when you're trying to play the whole track with double kick, snare, and a cymbal, whilst also controlling the vehicle, it was insanely difficult. But as time goes on, you get to know the tracks. So the more you get to know the track, the better you will become. So I did like that. There's kind of the learning of the track, the learning of the song, and the mastering the ability to do that is very cool. It should be pretty good for musicians that are actually into the genre of heavy metal, and also possibly play the instrument. I think they'll probably do quite well at this. But yeah, I did enjoy it. So with this game, they're planning about 6 months in early access. During early access, they aim to do 10, 15 more songs, maybe 3 more chapters. So it looks to be about double, which is good. I mean, at the moment, I think you could easily sink in 4 hours in the story mode, and in the arcade mode, you can play around in there a lot because you could really ramp up the difficulty. I wouldn't say you want to do the story mode in the extreme difficulty because you probably want to know what happens. So general thoughts, I guess there are some negative points, but once again, this is my perspective, and it's very tricky when it's so based around rhythm and music. This is all really in the eye of the beholder, so I'm just giving you the facts and I guess my initial thoughts. So the difficulty seemed a little unbalanced to start with. And when I say that, I mean the easy mode seems very easy, and it seems to increase in difficulty exponentially, and almost to the point where I find it's hard to get the right level for each track. But once again, as you get familiar with the song, with the tracks, you're probably going to start, progressing in the harder difficulty. So that is probably just a bit of time that needs to be sunk into this game to really get your teeth into it. So the music, the tracks. Whilst most of the tracks for me I found satisfying, very satisfying. Some of them I couldn't get into. But I think about 3 of them I really did enjoy, and I was really into it, so that was fantastic. It's very difficult. It's a very difficult task to combine 15 tracks over a few different musical genres that everyone will enjoy. I don't think you're ever going to achieve that. I found they did a really good job, but clearly this is based upon musical taste and inclination. That's why the editor is a fantastic addition to the game. So they've resolved this issue with the editor. So if you have a few tracks you don't like, you could swap them out, add your own ones in there. And this just opens the game up for so much replayability. Now, the story, the script, it was okay. I found the script a little crass sometimes, but I guess that's trying to match in with the genre and the metalhead attitude. So, but it gets the message across, and it is okay. It's interesting enough. A lot of references and tributes and recognition to famous artists over the years, so that's quite nice. General thoughts of the gameplay: instant gratification. When the music is something you're into, like those 3 tracks I mentioned, you really get into the groove. It's a really enjoyable experience. And when you complete a level nearing 100%, there's much jubilation. It's a lot of fun. It's quite well balanced. But once again, it's really down to your personal perspective on music, your personal opinion, what you're into. So this is kind of a mix between Guitar Hero and like an 80s metal side-scroller. But yeah, enjoyable, but clearly dependent on your, once again, perspective and tastes. But I hope I've detailed out some information about this game, giving you enough information to know to purchase or not. Leave me some feedback below. Thumbs up if you like this video, and check out the channel for some more content that I've done. But until next time, this is Mesh, and I'll see you later.